You're back at the Faculty Factory podcast, and I'm Kim Skorupski here at Hopkins looking at Dr. Sarah Andrews. So Dr. Sarah Andrews, this is one of our reunion episodes. You might want to scroll on back to episode number 138. Sarah gave us her habits and hacks from Hopkins. She was one of, I think it was right. Yeah, it was during COVID. It was 2021, where we kind of wanted to give opportunity to our faculty here to share their lessons learned. And Sarah talked about priorities. She shared her work-life integration hints and hacks and talked about her lovely, adorable twin girls who are now, I just learned, 8.5 years old, which is horrifying to me. And if you listen to the podcast, you've also heard me a number of times mention the story when we were in a leadership program and we were talking about communication. And this is the Sarah who had the little daughter who, when Sarah was in the refrigerator scrounging for dinner prep or some food or something, but had her back to her, one of the little girls. And the little girl was talking and Sarah said, I'm listening. And she said, no, mommy, I want you to listen with your face. And I love that. And I've never forgotten it because she knew at that very tender age, which was obviously like 3, maybe 4, she was so young, that no, you're not really paying attention to me. And then it always makes me think of how many times in real life are we, yeah, I'm listening to you, but no, you're not. You're scrolling through your phone, you're on social, you're looking at your emails, you're charting on Epic. You're not paying attention to me. Listen to me with your face, with intentionality. So I love that. So this is the Sarah Andrews, the Dr. Andrews, who is an assistant professor in psychiatry here at Hopkins. Almost real close to being promoted to associate professor. Her materials have been in the hopper for over a year. Sidebar, someday we'll talk about promotion and how frustrating it is when you have to wait for the letter writers to come on back with their letters. So anyway, Sarah, welcome back to the podcast for our reunion episode. And I just wanted to hear something and what's been going on the past 3 years. And I think we're going to talk about expectations, realistic and unrealistic expectations. So take it away, Sarah.
Thanks so much, Kim. Thanks for having me. Things have been going well. Career-wise, it's been going well as personal life. Everything's been kind of status quo, but time has been passing and just continuing to make some just ongoing advances within the career, as well as trying to continue to have a good balance between work and as well as life.
Yeah, I remember in your episode back in the day, 3 years ago, you shared the story of how when the girls were at ballet lesson, I think it was ballet, you would sit on your laptop and do work, but you were very clear to say, so I find snippets of time when I'm with the girls when they're occupied doing something else. But you said I would never like go to a rehearsal or a concert or a show and be on my laptop. But when they are in some kind of practice or event where I don't need to be paying attention, I kind of use that time efficiently. So I remember that story you shared with us and how, I mean, you're still all about balancing and finding priorities and changing your perspective about the girls being 8.5 now. That means that they're 3rd grade or they'll be in 4th grade?
They'll be going into 3rd grade.
3rd grade. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, well, how has it been in the past 3.5 years since you have, submitted your portfolio to be promoted on our clinical excellence track, our fairly new track here at Hopkins? We have 2, the traditional research track and then this clinical excellence track, which was started in 2019. So how have you found life and career and the integration since we talked last, and how the girls been pushing you to stay true to expectations and boundaries and life?
I think I'm not going to lie, every day is a challenge. Every day schedules are different and trying to balancing everything. And now as the girls are older, they notice it more, that either I'm working at different times or need to drop them off at school to make sure we're on time because I have either meetings or patients to see. So they're aware of that more, which has been an interesting transition over the last couple of years, because in their world, it was just them, and I just kind of was with them all the time, and they're in their minds. But now they're noticing how I do have to balance work and life. And so I think it's been something that I've found important to be able to share my own dedication and my own commitment to my work as a balancing act too. So they understand that, okay, they, like, if they're at home or if they have a day off, I will still have meetings, I will still have things to do. And they're very respectful of that time and balance. So they understand that a bit more. And I think it's just been one of those things with their schedules, and they have such heavy after school activities and that are continuing throughout the summer. It really does give me an opportunity to, for example, like work in the morning, spend a couple times with them in the afternoon, and then work again for 2-3 hours in the evening when they're doing their ballet or gymnastics activities. So it's been a good balance in that sense.
When I think of the faculty members I coach who have children, that's the theme that I get. The days of punching the clock in at 7 a.m. and coming home at 7 at night. I don't know when that went away, but I don't know anybody who works like that, especially when you have little kiddos. It is kind of this tapping in and tapping out all day. It's switch hitting from meetings, patients, kids, moms and dads, partners, personal health, getting your hair cut, going to your own doctor's appointments. It's in and out, in and out, in and out. So it's not this just kind of grind where you're so focused for these big chunks of time anymore, which I think makes it even more, there's good things and bad about that, because there's the flexibility is wonderful. But the bad thing is that sometimes it's hard to, I think, concentrate. It's hard to get in the zone, like for scholarship, to write or to do research or to chart. I imagine charting when you have to be focused. We're going through thousands of emails. It makes it tougher when you feel like you have compressed time. But I've also noticed with the people I'm coaching that when we get over that fear of, no, I can accomplish things in 10 minutes, 20-minute chunks, and that's good enough. As long as I have something where I'm making steady incremental progress, I don't need to freak out that, oh my gosh, I need 4 blocks of concentrated time. Well, good luck trying to get that. You have to go like check into a hotel room. And even then you're going to get housekeeping banging on your door. And then the neighbors banging doors. So we have to let go, I think, of that idea that big chunks of time are sitting around there and we just have to figure out where to find them. They're not there anymore. And I think that's even more reason, well, how you and I were chatting, Sarah, that we have to be really realistic in what can be done and how it can be done. So could you want to share a little bit about what you were mentioning with, now that you're creeping into mid-career, soon to be an associate professor, what you're noticing with early career faculty members and how it makes you reflect on maybe where you were and why it's important to do what you tell them to do?
Yeah, I think time management and prioritization and being able to really understand what are realistic expectations is so important, because there's so many, especially with junior faculty members or even honestly, all faculty members, there's so many responsibilities and so many pulls and tugs. And it's really vital to learn how to effectively manage time, prioritizing tasks, and able to navigate all those commitments and really relying on, I rely so much on my calendar that's constantly moving and constant parts, and really being able to figure out how to put everything in the time allotted. We all wish that we had like a couple more days in the week, but we don't. And just really being able to figure out what can I accomplish in these times, or what can I be able to tell these other colleagues that I can get this paper out or this review out or this revision, and what is an appropriate time frame to do that, and what is an appropriate kind of goals that you have set for yourself based on other responsibilities. And I think that it's so easy to want to do everything and want to do everything all at once, and being able to really break down those goals into smaller goals, and step by step being able to figure out how to actually accomplish the small goals to then have larger kind of ongoing goals. I think it's really important to embrace the idea that it's a new thing. It's not always set in stone how to advance a career, or how to figure out the faculty balance, and it's kind of just figuring out how to do it in a mindful and methodical way, but also realistic.
So we can't do it all. Why can't we do it all? I mean, I know that, we talk about the fact that we're all so overly ambitious, high achieving, type A. So we feel like we should be able to do it all and do it all now. Every grant, that comes back should be, scoring one something. I was talking to somebody yesterday who got a score of her very first submission. She got a score of 32, and she was so depressed and so sad. And she said, I actually thought, should I reconsider my career? Maybe I shouldn't be in medicine. And I'm like, 32, you got scored, first of all. So congratulations. But so I think we all share this self-doubt, hard, uncompromising criticism of ourselves that we should be knocking it out of the park every day, all the time. Perfect mom, perfect dad, perfect grants, articles accepted on the first go around. All my patients are doing well. All my epic charting is done immediately after seeing the patients. I'm caught up on everything. My CV is always updated. It's impossible, right?
Yes, I would agree. It's, I think there's only 24 hours in the day. And to be able to do it all, we want to be able to dedicate a full commitment to work, to personal life, to family. And there's just not, to be able to do every single thing that we want to do, it just can't. There has to be a balancing act. It's trying to figure out priorities. It's, for example, for my girls, they have field trips throughout the school year. I can't go to every single field trip. I can pick one or two field trips, because I can't do everything for them and everything that they want to do, as well as being able to manage my responsibilities at work. It cannot be everything. And I think that that's so important, that it's picking. I cannot do every single paper topic that's running in my head. You just can't. You can't do every single thing. You could pick a couple. You can pick few, and it's just about, we can't do absolutely every single thing that we want to do or that we're wanting to do. We can't take every single vacation that we want to take. We can't take every single outing at any particular time. We just cannot do every single thing. And it's just being accepting and understanding that we're humans and we have limitations, and that it's okay to pick and choose, and embracing that realistic and balanced perspective of what we can accomplish, and then focusing on progress rather than striving for this impossible standard of being able to do every single thing possible.
Well, how do you deal with the disappointment? So personal disappointment, those girls looking at you with those big doughy eyes, like, you're not going to go to Disney World with us. Oh, I thought you loved us. I mean, how do you deal with that kind of, in our own talk? Oh, I'm so disappointed with myself. Your patients are disappointed with you, your division director. I mean, how do you deal with disappointment?
I think it's challenging, especially when you want to please people, when you I want to be able to go to every single thing that the girls have, especially during the work day, but I just can't. And I think what I've been working with the girls is that I can tell me the ones that are the most important to you, and let me see if I can fit that into my schedule.
Ooh, I like that.
And I think it's the same thing. And it's the same thing with colleagues. What is the most important thing that you need me to accomplish within the next week or 2 weeks? And let me work on that first. And so it's about kind of working. I find with the girls, it's working with them and having them have a say sometimes about what's a priority to them. And then it helps just with the communication and being able to, okay, let me see if I can fit that in to my schedule. Because there's always, I mean, and with work too, and with life, there's always things that are going to happen that need your attention right away, that can't wait. And kind of factoring in those too, and just being flexible with that. There's going to be times that they have to go to the doctor urgently, that you just have to take them. I just have to. But being able to also prioritizing things that can be put off a little bit, but then also understanding there's some things that can't be, that just need to get done, and kind of just accepting that and kind of factoring that into the daily schedule too, that things are going to pop up and it's going to be unexpected.
Learning to find some comfort in discomfort. So I love this lesson that you're teaching the girls. First of all, like, life's not always sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. I'm disappointed as well that I can't go to that, but I love I like this lesson a lot. Inviting other people to help you problem solve this. Mommy, can we? Or, hey, Dr. Andrews, would you? Or, hey, Sarah, I'm thinking that maybe those invitations, we're not obligated to always say yes, which from our leadership courses. We work very hard on teaching and reminding ourselves and practicing how to say no. But I like how you're inviting other people to say, that is really unlikely. Or if I say yes to this commitment, I know I'm not going to do as good a job as I'd like to do. So given that, thanks for the offer to work on that paper or do that grant or serve on that committee. For the next several weeks, I have limited time. I can give you this many hours or this many days, or I can give you a portion of that. What do you need specifically from me? What in this paper do you specifically want me to review? Don't give me the email, hey, give me your feedback on the paper. I don't have that kind of time to give you feedback. Tell me exactly what you want me to look for. Which area of the paper is it? Discussion, the introduction? Are you looking for it? I need specifics. Or, honey, which of these field trips would you really love for mommy to be there? I like how you are not putting it all on yourself. So first of all, either one end of that continuum, saying yes to everything and then burning out and being resentful and angry at yourself and everybody else and feeling so put upon, but also not saying, no, I'm busy, but that middle ground of realistically looking at your calendar, I could give you an hour, or I can do that one thing in a couple months. So I really like that hint of, we don't have to figure everything out. Invite other people to help you. I want to be a part of this, but I can't do that. So what can I do specifically? That's a great tool, Sarah. I love it.
Yeah. And I think that relates to the acceptance that we can't do it all. It's being able to spread ourselves out and having the understanding, and even before things like what you said, you burn out, you commit to so much stuff, just being like, okay. And then later, if you find that you have more time, or if I have more time, that, okay, maybe I can add this later. And let me see how things pan out over the next couple weeks or months. And maybe I do find that I have more flexibility or more time later on to give to this other project or to do this. But let me make sure what I have on my plate I can accomplish.
You're making me think, maybe because I'm hungry, of like cooking or baking. It's always easier to add things back in, but it's harder to take something out of the recipe. So if you pour all your blood, sweat, and tears and time and commit to everything, it's hard to sometimes back that out of there. Rather, just sprinkle a little bit in, and then, I found some more thyme, or I found some more cinnamon, and then you can add it. It's harder to take it away. You're making me think also of Ashley Paul. She's also been on Dr. Paul's been on the podcast as well. She's here at Hopkins, and she always finds these cool apps, and she's one of these techie people. She's always reading great books, and she sent me this link to, I guess that's old, but Gal Zauberman from the Wharton School of Business, who talks about the yes darn. It's not darn. He says the other word, the yes darn effect. It's the idea of making a promise to do something in the future and then immediately regretting it. So it gets to that whole thing of we want to say yes, 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 because The major reason why we say yes include optimism. I can do it. The fear of losing the deal. This is for like salespeople. I'm looking at it on the web, obviously. A sense of duty, respect for authority because your boss asked you. The need for power. Oh, if I do this for her, they'll owe me big time. And then the need to be liked, if you're a people pleaser. So watch out for that. The yes, darn effect. It's the idea of like, yeah, sure, sure, sure. And then you kind of have that regret. And so you have to make sure you pause for, he recommends doubling all your time estimates. So it'll only take, Ash, Sarah, it's only going to take you, 2 hours. That's 4. It's like any subcontractor doing work on your house, right? It's going to double the budget, double the time estimates, and then think, well, would I be comfortable spending 40 hours reviewing this grant application? Ask yourself, could I do it tomorrow? Since you likely won't have more time next month than tomorrow, consider, why would you say yes? If you couldn't do it tomorrow, what makes you think you're going to be able to do it next month? Because as you said, Sarah, who knows what's going to happen next month, and how things kind of fly in. So if you don't have time tomorrow, maybe you reconsider committing to things. Delay. The delay tactic is, let me get back to you. Let me think about that. And then make no mean no. No is a complete sentence. As we talk about leadership, you could say, gosh, I don't think I don't have the time or resources to do that. I would not do the job that I want to do for you to my standards. So Kim might want to do that. So the idea of like commit to no. And once you find yourself going down the, well, maybe I could, he says your ship is sunk. So that kind of make no, a firm no is a no. And then that gets to we train people how to treat us. We train people how to treat us. If Sarah said, I've got this, the hard stop schedules, the girls, my patients, and you set those boundaries, you're respecting yourself and people see that. And then they're not going to kind of bully you, or you won't be bullied into bleeding into your time that's in your calendar. So you made me think of that. I like that. Well, what are you seeing with the, you did mention the junior faculty, early career faculty members that you have noticed. You want to spend a couple minutes just talking about their expectations and what you see in them and how you try to advise them to kind of get down to reality?
I think it relates to what you had just said. It's one of those aspects of people pleaser, and wanting people to like you, wanting to feel like you're a team player. And I think that's a huge thing that I struggle too as an early career faculty member, and just wanting to say yes and wanting to be liked and wanting to just be helpful all the time. And then and I think over the years, adjusting that and being like, what fits with my priorities, what fits with my goals in my career? Because there's so many things that you can do within your career. There's so many things in a department has in terms of they might have this committee or this thing, or there's so many different avenues that they might need help with. And it's, very appropriate and to help with different aspects within the department, but taking whatever that you're doing and kind of figuring out, okay, is this going to help me as a faculty member? Is this going to help my career? Is this something that I enjoy doing? And it doesn't, not every single thing needs to be fit perfectly within that, but I think at least a good percentage should be aimed at that. And I think that that's a helpful tool that I've used to be able to, okay, when should I say no, or when should I delay? And I think that's something that took me time to figure out, because it was so easy to always want to say yes. And it was helpful too in the beginning to then figure out, okay, what do I enjoy doing? What do I like doing? What are my strengths? And so it's that balance too. And I think that it's for early career faculty members, it's figuring out that balance and when to say yes, when to say no. But sometimes it takes time of things that, I really shouldn't have said yes to this. And then that regret and that, like, oh, darn feeling. But I think sometimes it just takes time and acceptance that it will, hopefully, I think with reflection, to figure out what is the best fit.
Totally agree. Time is such a great lesson for all of us. And we still make mistakes. And then of course that grace and mercy that We're never going to be perfect. We will say yes to things that will blow up. We will say no to things that really took off that we, think about those celebrities who say, oh, I turned down that movie and wow, what a great hit it was. Or I signed on to that movie and it was a dud. It's the same thing. Our lives are like, darn, I should have done that. But that's part of the growing, and also recognizing that everything is so personalized and subjective. We're all in different seasons of life. So the kind of coulda, woulda, shoulda and armchair quarterbacking something it's not fair, because we make the best decisions. We try to make the best decisions at the time with the information we have. And I couldn't have done that because the girls were, 3, or I had, broken my foot or whatever. So that's life. And you've described this kind of tenderness about, and honesty, recognizing that, being mindful of that I can't do everything. It's impossible to do everything. And it's really harmful to try to do everything and want to do it perfectly. And I love the lesson you've taught me to invite everyone to help you figure that out, that you don't have to figure out in your head and start whirling about how am I going to do that. Just say, gosh, I'm kind of flummoxed here. Can you help me figure out? I'd love to be able to do this, but it's not going to work. Can you help me figure out an alternative strategy? How can we compromise? Can you help me think of that? And people love to help us think about things. They love that. And that's, at least I love that in my coaching part too. I love to help people brainstorm and think about alternative solutions. Dr. Sarah Andrews, this is a great reunion. I'm so happy to see you. I miss seeing the girls at the gym. I don't know that I even recognize them. The only way I would recognize them is if they're standing next to each other and I'd say, oh, it's you. Let me listen to you with my face. I know your mom. So thanks again, Sarah. I'll let you have the parting thought for the Faculty Factory International community.
Thank you so much, Kim. This was wonderful. Yeah, I think my parting thought is having acceptance of weaknesses and strengths, and being able to just having empathy for yourself for the most part, for when you can't do things that you want to do, but maybe you could do them later. I think just having some empathy for yourself and the choices that you make.
Thank you, Sarah.
Hey everyone, it's your podcast producer, Casey Callahan, with your monthly Faculty Factory podcast update. Please make sure to download our free newest Faculty Factory book called The Academic Medicine Starter Kit, Timeless Tips and Guidance for Early Career Faculty Members. It is free and right now available to download on the facultyfactory.org website. Visit facultyfactory.org to find it, and you can see a link there to the Amazon version as well if you want the print version. In addition, I wanted to let you know that as of August 2024, this podcast you're listening to has more than 88,000 total downloads and more than 13,000 total YouTube views. The Faculty Factory website has drawn more than 48,000 web visitors from users in 122 different countries. We want you to be a guest on our show, so please reach out via the Faculty Factory website and send us a message there.
Thanks for tuning in to Faculty Factory Podcast. The mission of the Faculty Factory is to build and support a community of leaders in faculty development who share tools, resources, wisdom, and encouragement in service to our faculty members, schools, and institutions. We encourage you to go to facultyfactory.org to find out more. Get in touch with me, ask me any questions. Maybe you want to be interviewed on the podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Faculty Factory Podcast. We'll see you next time. The Faculty Factory podcast and website is sponsored by the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine Office of Faculty. For more information, visit facultyfactory.org.